Thoughts now?
No, listen, I understand why it's a red card. And why it's a red card. When you see it in real time, yeah, he's fast.
Kenny,
I always say this, football, you need to...
Card, mate.
Well,
come on.
Hang fire, James. I've just gave you the reason why I don't think it's a red card.
It's a red card.
That's a...
Kenny Miller is adamant that it should have been a yellow and not a red. Welcome back to Fog Football. I'm hearing people, what does Fog Football think of this? You know what, right? We think it's a red, but I will defend Kenny Miller to a degree. His point is that without VAR, it would be play on and yada yada yada, right? And I do get his point. You know, I do get his point. Now, Willie Collum ran straight over and gave Lundstram a yellow for it. But we have VAR now, Kenny. You know, it's been in the game for a little bit of time. Obviously a bit longer elsewhere, but here it's been in, what, a year and a half? Just before the World Cup, wasn't it? So, I mean, you look at it, we don't like... You know, I think most of us don't like seeing them being given as reds, right? Most of us like the hard-hitting tackles in Old Firms, and I get it, he didn't even get a bit of the ball, so we can't even claim that, right? But, you know, I do miss the bygone age of where you could just poleaxe each other, you know, leave a bit on somebody, like the Roy Keane-esque tackles, you know, and we just don't have it. I mean, it was a bad tackle, right? But I mean, when they're comparing it to the 70s, I mean, if you watch in like 80s, if you watch Souness, man, what he was doing, like, I mean, that game against Aberdeen, guys fucking studding every bastard. So I think it's a wee bit incomparable, but I can kind of back up Kenny Miller. Like, I think VAR has definitely ruined the game. Like, there's no flow anymore, and without it, this wouldn't have been a red. But then Celtic fans will say, well, without it, Kenny, he would have stayed on the pitch when he should have been sent off. But here, it swings and roundabouts.
To kick Alistair Johnson, absolutely not. He meant to go and win the ball. Alistair Johnson plants his foot. He's not out of control.
We then have a bit of an argument match here between Sutton and Miller regarding whether the fact he was out of control. I don't think he was out of control, right? I think out of control is more when the ball has already been played in my eyes and he's going in recklessly. Now, I think it is a bit reckless, but I wouldn't describe it as an out-of-control tackle. It's not like he's lunged in, both feet, you know, bloody 10 feet in the air, so to speak, and he's pulled. I mean, he's went to play the ball, right? And he's caught him. It's not the highest tackle I ever see, but he has caught him. Alistair Johnson, lucky to avoid injury. He could have broke his leg, you know, if a different scenario played out. But here, it's all if, buts, maybes. But I don't think it's out of control. And Kenny Miller, he was looking for a bit of backup. Well, he wasn't really looking for a bit of backup, but Boyd was like, you know what, Kenny, I'd love to give you some backup, son, but it's just no happening today, big man. I think Boyd just admitted defeat today. You know, normally Boyd's the guy that stirs the pot, but I think he just acknowledged that this Rangers team, including ourselves, like our Rangers fans, have let everyone down, and Boyd's like, you know what, I'm sick of defending these useless bastards. So sorry, Kenny. I'll leave Kenny on his own. Kenny, of course, you know, he wore that Celtic shirt for a wee bit. Maybe he's trying to win a few back on board. Who knows? But let's look at those wee comments because it was quite funny.
So talk about the game.
Do that. We could move on.
Talk about the game. Yeah.
I was wrong, and you were wrong.
Yeah. It was a double red card. I would love to stick up for you, but I just think
I don't need anyone to stick up for me, mate.
I would love to.
I can stick to my opinion.
But no, listen, I get that.
I get rubbish, and it always intervenes, and it's whether it's right or not. To the law of the game, I understand it's a red card.
What about a bit of criticism to John Lundstram?
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. You know, if it's one of your teammates, Kenny, you know.
Chris Boyd would love to stick up for his wee tag team partner, as you heard there, but he can't. We've heard Sutton compare it to a tackle in the 70s, but I mean, Kenny Miller, like, he was willing to die on the hill, but that shouldn't be a red. You know what? You can almost admire it, but end of the day, folks, 2024, it kinda needs to be a red. Alright, it needs to be a red. You can't spin it, can't change it. It needs, like, whatever way, like, I think we're foot far, absolutely, but at the same time, if it didn't go too far, right, or it went too far and he didn't give it, we'd be having the exact same argument the other way. Like, you'd actually have Kenny Miller defending the decision, and then the other four going through the decision. Again, they didn't even bother their arse talking about the penalty. No outrage over that. Again, red card, obviously, the bigger incident of the two, because Rangers, you know, didn't really have much of a chance because the way they set up after it was just a mess. But we'll have to wait and see what it means next for Rangers folks. But for Kenny Miller, it was brilliant to see him go in. I mean, people are describing it as a meltdown. Hell, we'll probably put a meltdown in the title of the video. It's just giving his opinion. I mean, he's acknowledging the fact that by the letter of the law it should be a red, but he thinks it shouldn't be because of the fact that it's far that's intervening in. Again, I think with VAR there is a lot of instances where they just go looking for something to disallow a goal, to send someone off. But, you know, we've seen way worse reds this season. Big Evan. You know, you look at Dujon Sterling's red against Aberdeen. Shocking. And some farcical decisions in offsides and handballs, etc. So, again, I can see Kenny's point, but for us here on Fog Football, we think it's a red. I mean, if he didn't give it, I would have said that we got away with one. Not massively, but I still think we would have got away with one in the sense that, here, I think that's a red, but he didn't give it. But here, Boyd, Sutton, Lennon, McFadden, all going against Kenny Miller, 4-1. Kenny Miller, he didn't want any backup for Boyd. Well, it would have been entertaining. But I mean, I believe Lennon said it was a penalty. But I mean, in terms of the penalty, man, Matt O'Reilly's the one that initiating the contact. You know, we've seen Kyogo do it against Livingston recently, and they didn't give it. So, you know, a bit of consistency in the rules, absolutely. And before the tears flying, Rangers got all the decisions. See the Fabio Silva penalty at Ibrox? It was never a penalty. I said it wasn't a penalty. I'm going to stand by this. You know, I'm fair. I'm impartial. I'm not going to just fucking lie for the sake of it because I support one team over the other. I'll say it when I see it, folks, and that's what we are in Fog Football. We speak honesty. Anyway, till next time, your thoughts down below. We Kenny Miller meltdown. It was funny, man. It was funny for what it was at the end of the day, but we have to move on. It's a title fight over. The league is pretty much dead right now. Not much happening. As much as how bad a draw would have been in this game, at least a draw, you know, it does mean something, I guess. If Rangers and Celtic did draw the game, Rangers could have beat Dundee, joint on points, and it would have put a bit of pressure on Celtic. But now, I mean, it's done. The league is over. Rangers bottling another trophy, and I seen a comment on Twitter saying that Rangers are quickly becoming to Celtic what Espanyol are to Barcelona. And you know what? Pains me to agree with that, but you can't. I mean, you just look at the trophy counts, man. Celtic are what? If they win, well, obviously the league's won. If they win the cup, man, they're joint on Rangers for the most trophies ever, aren't they? So, yeah, absolute shocking.